All right, everyone, a good evening to you. I am forecaster Nick Dunn here live with you on a Friday evening as we're going to be talking about some severe weather here. So give me just a couple of moments and we're just adding in a couple of more platforms here for you. And hopefully you guys can hear me and see me okay here this evening as we are tracking a severe thunderstorm in northern Indiana this evening. This will probably be the first of a couple different times that you're going to be hearing me and seeing me throughout the overnight hours tonight. So we're going to go ahead and we'll get started here in just a moment. So again, I hope everybody's having a good evening so far. We are tracking our first severe thunderstorm warning of the day. Technically in the Bell Park Weather Network coverage area, we are tracking just one warning here right now in southeastern St. Joseph County, northern Marshall County, and most of Elkhart County until 7:30 this evening. This is for a severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing quarter-size hail and even a potentially for some damaging winds just under that severe threshold at 50 miles per hour. So this particular storm right now, as you can see, does have a very strong return of some hail on. You can see here near Wakarusa down to about La Paz, and this is moving off here to the east-northeast toward Middlebury, Goshen, and New Paris here in just the next little bit. So if you live in those areas, I would just kind of be prepared to take shelter in case it is absolutely necessary. Move indoors and stay away from windows with that potential for large hail. Now you can see here where we have the darker purples showing up here. That's where we could be seeing hail that I would not be surprised if it's larger than quarter size, just based on that particular return right there. Let's go over to velocity for just a few moments here, because the good news with this is we mentioned that the wind on this particular storm is not overly impressive, but no rotation either. So that's a piece of good news as well. We'll have to watch and see if anything changes with that. The overall environment here is not overly conducive right now for a big time severe weather event across northern Indiana. We're still kind of, those better dynamics are still a little further away. So we'll have to kind of watch, but this is kind of a prefrontal type thunderstorm that has popped up. Again, this will be moving off towards the east-northeast. If your travel is taking north of Fort Wayne this evening, taking up closer to the Indiana-Michigan border, you are going to want to be prepared. Now, obviously, what everybody wants to know here this evening is what is going on off to our west. We are tracking a line of severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings all the way from Cedar Rapids and Davenport, Iowa, all the way down to Springfield and St. Louis, and even down towards Memphis as well. So we've got a long way to go this evening before anything really gets overly going in our neck of the woods. Obviously, we do have the one thunderstorm here in the South Bend area, kind of working its way off towards the north and to the northeast there. But in general, right now, we're in a relative lull for thunderstorm activity in general. I'll turn on our lightning so you can kind of see what's going on with that as well. There is an immense amount of lightning. You just saw those flashes kind of pop up on your screen there, and I'll make it to where those kind of flash. You can see it a little bit better, but a lot of lightning. So this is a big time severe thunderstorm outbreak that is ongoing right now across the Mississippi River Valley, and that will be moving in our general direction here as we continue to progress through the evening hours tonight. Again, it is important that you have multiple ways to receive weather information, weather alerts. We are tracking a couple of other thunderstorms as well here to portions of Jay County, just to the north of Muncie here, and then also down to the south here, just to the south of downtown Cincinnati. So likely seeing some delays right now with the Reds game going on. But outside of that, it's relatively quiet so far. That's a piece of good news. Storm Prediction Center outlook really has not changed much. I'm going to turn off the radars and lightning here, so give me just a moment here to do that. And we'll take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for the rest of the night tonight. The way it stands right now, this was just updated at 4 o'clock, so not too terribly long ago. We still have a level 4 out of 5 risk for portions of east central Indiana, back into central Indiana and western Indiana as well. That's where the best chance of seeing severe weather is going to be. And overall, still a relatively significant risk of severe weather is still with us, as we see that level 3 out of 5 risk for parts of about the western half of Ohio, really, up in the north central and northeastern Indiana. A level 2 out of 5 continues from the lower Scioto Valley up to about Mansfield and over to Toledo, so we'll track that as well. Again, the further east you go, the lesser the chance of severe weather as we head through the rest of the evening hours. And a level 1 out of 5 from the mid Ohio Valley up northeast into portions of northeastern Ohio. So again, we're watching all this for you very, very closely here this evening. I'll take you back into our severe thunderstorm warning one more time. I'm not going to stay overly on long with this particular storm, just because obviously we are anticipating a longer night ahead, and I don't want to overkill the situation. But if you are across the northern portions of Indiana this evening, we're watching some relatively strong thunderstorm activity across areas that are north of I-70. So really, in terms of Ohio, not too much of a risk with this. could graze places like Toledo and Bryant and Defiance. But in general, right now, our primary concern is kind of west of Interstate 69. So we're tracking this one warning here into St. Joseph and Elkhart County. It looks like they are pretty much have taken Marshall County out at this point. And then back to the west, we're watching some other thunderstorms that are kind of developing. Again, this is all part prefrontal boundary kind of lifting through the region. Once this gets passed, then our severe weather threat is game on, essentially. So even those storms that are south of Cincinnati that I showed you just a little bit ago, once those pass by, our severe weather threat is game on, and we'll watch for a squall line or a QLCS type thunderstorm line to develop back to the west across the Mississippi Valley. There have been a lot of supercells, but those will kind of congeal into a line, and I do expect damaging wind to be our primary concern, but even a brief tornado not out of the question. So that's kind of an update where things stand. Again, we do have one severe thunderstorm warning right now for St. Joseph, Elkhart, and Marshall counties in northern Indiana until 7:30 this evening. And that's for one severe thunderstorm just to the east of downtown South Bend, kind of working its way off there towards the east-northeast, moving at about 60 miles per hour. That's the other key I do want to kind of hit on just real quick, and then I'll let you get about your evening plans for the rest of tonight. But these storms are going to be moving very, very quickly. As quick as they move in, they'll be moving out. And if there's one piece of good news tonight, it is that they are moving very quickly. So again, these are moving at freeway speeds. So once they're gone, that's the good news as we get later on to tonight. But we obviously still have a little ways to go so far. Now, that risk of severe weather will continue in terms of the rest of the area for timing. Okay, I'm kind of thinking 10 p.m. to 4 or 5 a.m., and we are prepared to be with you all night if necessary here on Facebook and on YouTube. Make sure you have our mobile app downloaded. As you can see, Google and Apple Play stores, go ahead and download it now. You should be able just to search Bell Park Weather Network in your app stores, and you should be able to see that. If you have trouble finding it, please let us know. Send us a message, and we'll be able to send you a link to download that app relatively quickly. So with that in mind, right now we don't have much else to speak about. We are watching a relatively large tornado just to the north of Memphis. I guess I can show you that real quick just for, I'm sure we have some friends and family that are kind of watching things closely, but this is about as bad as it gets. This flashing purple box, is just kind of an educational moment for you here. All right, obviously part of our mission here at Bell Park Weather Network is to educate you and kind of teach you some different things. So this is what we call a supercell type thunderstorm, and as you can see, it is wrapped up very tight. There's actually a debris ball here. This is to the north of downtown Memphis, and this will be moving over here towards Munford and Gilt Edge. So if you know anybody north of Memphis, our thoughts and prayers are with them. This is a large tornado that is on the ground. It is doing damage, and what we don't like to see with this is that tornado damage tag is catastrophic. Okay, we don't like to see that terminology. We don't see that very often, but just kind of an educational moment for you. Supercell, typically your tornadoes on the southern flank of that, and then you have your winds are coming in at this angle here like this. Okay, so they're coming in like that, and then you have precipitation and winds wrapping around the backside, and that's your supercell type thunderstorm. So again, just kind of a little bit of an educational moment for you. If you ever see a storm like this bearing down in your neck of the woods, it's time to move indoors and take shelter and take your tornado precautions. So hopefully everybody north of Memphis is doing okay this evening. But again, back a little bit closer to home here tonight. Again, we just have that one severe thunderstorm warning across northern Indiana so far. Otherwise, we're relatively calm for right now. So for the time being, we're going to take you back to your regularly scheduled evening, and I hope everybody has a safe one. Make sure you download our Bell Park Weather Network mobile app. Have multiple ways to receive weather information as we head through the rest of the night tonight. And of course, our team will be here, and we'll break back in as necessary. I'm forecaster Nick Dunn reporting.